Guys and dolls, no mic in. Just a wee quick introduction to a wee preview of a video that'll be coming out on other channels, probably going out on TikTok as well. I have access to a full copy of it, you know what I mean, but I'm going to wait till the full video goes out elsewhere and stuff, and let Lindsay and that and Time to Rise get their bit out, but I've just took a wee bit from it. Just a wee bit to do with Glenn, my last video, so thought I'd throw it in there as well, you know what I mean. And to let you know, live tonight, about 6:30, 7, guys, so stay on your toes for that. Hopefully there's nobody else doing a live, no other big YouTubers, but if not, you can always come back and watch it when it's not live, you know. So yeah, I'm tired. Haven't stopped. Up with the boney, dog walked, doing all wee bits and pieces, talking to people, phone calls, loads of phone calls, and just amazing. Absolutely, everything's really good. You know what I mean? Really difficult. You know what I mean? You know, it's difficult. It's difficult. You know, mentally as well. You know, how people behave and how people think, and when you know you're doing something really right, you know what I mean, and you know it could always come back and bite you and all that, and all the rest of it, you know what I mean, and that's life. This is the life, you know what I mean. You know, I don't care. Whatever happens. I can explain myself. I can explain why I'm doing it. You know, I always keep myself right by reminding myself who I am, you know. And yeah, talk about it in the live and sure. Enjoy the video, guys.
Well, so I didn't know exactly who he was, so I tried to find out who he was, and I got a good response. Now, don't get me wrong,
he's a good
you
lad.
know, I got a good, the lads that I spoke to told me he's a good lad and that they really like him. They really, really do like him. But they had just, now this is not what these guys said that I was speaking to, but they had heard rumours that he was too far right, that he was involved in organisations that were completely against anybody that didn't have white skin. Now, I don't believe that to be true. Can you answer?
Well, it depends what you call far right. This is what I mean. We have to address far right. So Glenn was a member of the BNP back in the day, you know, and I've addressed that in my videos. You know, the National Front and the BNP were in loyalist communities since I was able to walk. You know what I mean? And I've addressed this in my videos. I've spoke about it because I've got over 500 videos, and I talk about my experience in Northern Ireland growing up in Belfast. And one of them stories was the National Front and people like that coming into our areas. And, you know, we just seen the flags and the Union Jacks and everything on the Ulster and just thought it was another 12th of July thing as young guys, you know what I mean? But let's be honest, right? So we talk about far right, BNP and all these other people. And, you know, what is far right? This is a question you've got to ask. What is far right? You know, these guys love the community and they want to look after the community. We look at every country around the world, and we don't even need to look that far. We just need to look into the likes of Leicester, Birmingham, and Oldham, places like that. And we see communities that are like predominantly Muslim. And then we got predominantly Indian, like Sikhs and that. So there's nobody bats an eyelid. We've got Black Lives Matter. We've got black people like Joshua the boxer telling people not to buy from white, but buy from only black stores. You know, and we're still banging on about the far right. And you know, we've got all these different black organisations that do not allow any whites into them. Nobody bats an eyelid about. But as soon as somebody had any connection with the BNP back in the day, oh, he's far right. But let's address that, the BNP and all the rest of it. How many people in our past have been called far right? And today when we look at them back and we look back at them, all I see is people that were right. You know, at the end of the day, these people have been telling us many years ago what's coming, you know, and like yous, I was probably like yous, you know, that's racist, far right, you know, that's what the government are saying, that's what everybody says, it's all far right. Tommy Robinson, he's just far right, you know, so we need to look at these things closely, we need to address it, and that's what we're doing. And like when Stormy came over here and called us all far right and called us all racist and then flew back to England, I went and got Tony Martin, the leader of the National Front, on my platform to find out who the far right are, because if we're being labelled far right for doing these demos, we need to find out who the far right are. And I still haven't really been satisfied who the true far right are, because like Tony Martin and the National Front, yes, they're whites only, but you know, they've got as many policies as Labour would have and any left-wing politicians, you know. Their argument is what's wrong with having a community that just want to represent themselves, you know. And this is another thing thing you've got to understand. This is what's driving this far right thing. We were a nation many years ago. In Northern Ireland, we had communities that were just Catholic. We had communities that were just Protestant, you know, and that's how we governed ourselves. You know, Ireland were Irish, and that's how they governed themselves. And, you know, there was never any talk about far right, but now there's diversity. We've got diversity, you see now. We've got people from all walks of life. So, you know, we can no longer say, oh, we just want to look after our own people. We've now got to look after everybody else. We've got to look after all the other religions, you know. So if it's far right to just want to look after your own community, then I'll take that. I'll take that all day long, because I want to look after my own community, because my own community is being let down because we're too busy looking after everybody else's community. And when we try to complain about that because of diversity, we're far right. So when you hear anybody being called far right, you've got to question it. You know, everybody makes mistakes. We all go down paths that we weren't meant to go down, and we through peer pressure or whatever else. The bottom line is, Glen Keane is not a racist. Okay, Glen Keane was a loyalist prisoner, and there was loyalist prisoners. There was a loyalist prisoner on the yard with us that was black. My doctor was black. We've all known black people. We don't even think about racism. We don't look at the colour of anybody's skin. It's not. That's never been an issue here, you know. And I've spoke personally to him, and he's not far right, and he's not a racist. He just loves his own people.
Thank you for explaining that. And